What if you took 10 tigers and 4 lions fighting over that same natural? Who do you think will win? Well, 4 lions will beat 10 tigers 100% of the time. And you know why? Because tigers are individuals. But lions, 4 lions together will beat 10 tigers. And that's what we all need. You all need a lion in your life. Please, lions stick together. Lions will tell you, lions will fight. They fight together, they stick together, and that's what we need. Sarah is my lion. As long as I know I have her in my life, I will always fight for her and my family. Because I just know what it means to me. We all need a lion in our life. You all need a lion in your life. Somebody who will tell you the indelible truth about the indelible truth, who will fight for you thick and thin, who will be there. Be there 100%.
We are so excited to have O'Neill and Sarah Hampton here with us today. Thank you for meeting us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for giving us the opportunity.
Yes, we're excited to hear your story and hear some wisdom and advice from your many years together. But if you can just start and share with us, how did you two meet?
We were at Northwestern Bible College in St. Paul. I was a freshman and O'Neill was a sophomore.
Yeah. And I played football. I was on the football team, and Sarah, she played volleyball there. But I played sports there as well as going to school there. So anyway, it was Sadie's Hawking Day was coming up. And so me and my football friends was coming out of the locker room, and her friends was close by there, like they always did. But no. And so she came to me and she said, "Hey, would you like to go to Sadie's Hawking Day dance with me?" And I looked at her, I said, "What?" I said, who are you? I said, "Get out of here. I can go with any girl on campus." And she was devastated. She's devastated. And so I was waiting for someone else to ask me out, but that person didn't ask me out. So I was up in the room, sitting by myself in my dorm room, and Sarah came there and knocked on the door. She said, "I thought you can go out with any girl on campus. What you doing sitting here by yourself? You want to go out?" We went out for coffee, and we've been together ever since. I'm so glad she had the resilience to come back, and I'm really glad. And that's how it is. I mean, the Lord works things out. I think what's meant to be is what meant to be, and this I believe was definitely meant to be. And I'm so glad she came. I mean, she humbled me down. She took me down so many notches. And I mean, seriously, instantaneously, that really humbled me. For one, that she'll have the nerve to come back and ask me. And for me, to really see how rude I was at first. But then I was with my friends too, and I was waiting for someone else. But I'm glad the right one asked me out. And that's how we met. That's how we met. We've been together ever since. Yeah.
So, Sarah, what was it that made you go back a second time?
I knew he was there alone, and I knew I wanted to go out with him, so I just went. I thought, I can't. All I can do is say no, so I went, and he didn't.
Yeah,
he said yes.
Well, it was absolutely meant to be. I'm so glad you did. Yeah.
What was it that caught your attention about O'Neill?
I think his smile and his personality. He had a great smile and was everybody loved him.
Oh, thank
So
you.
sweet.
I don't know about that, but when she came,
He still has that great smile.
when she came the second time, that's when I really seen her, and I thought, wow. I think it wasn't about the beauty or body or nothing. I mean, I seen her, and it went past all of those, the superficial, all the things that you see in a person when you first meet them. It went past that. And it's almost like I seen her heart, because for someone to come and do that, that's, I can honestly say I couldn't have done it. And that's what attracted me to it instantaneously. I mean, and I didn't, in fact, I didn't get to as we was dating, that's when I get to know her. But instantaneously, I seen her heart when she was standing there in that door. And that to me, it went past go, and it was there. Yeah, that's I knew. And that's when I said, "You want to go out for coffee?" She said, "Yeah," and we've been together ever since. Yeah.
Wow. So beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that was in 1978. We've been together since 1978. October, you say 26 or 19?
19th.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
October
how soon
19th.
after did you get married?
We got married, so then I went into, I had
The following summer
Yeah.
of 79, he went into the service,
yeah,
and he was in the service in Fort Bragg, North Carolina for 3 years.
3 years,
And
yeah.
we dated. I wrote him a letter every single day.
day.
He was in the service for 3 years.
every single day for 3 years.
And I sent him a
got
box of
letter.
cookies, homemade cookies,
Yep.
every single week. I might miss a week or two if I was out of town or on vacation or something. And we tried to see each other as much as we
much
could.
as you could.
I had $600 and $700 phone bills back then every month because
Yeah, 'cause
you didn't have cell phones. You had long distance charges you paid for.
Yeah, and
So he was gone in service for 3 years, and then he came back. He got out of the service in 82, and we got married in February of 1984.
Yeah.
So.
So it was just meant to be. I mean, but every single day I got a letter in the mail, and that held me together. That held me together. I mean, every single day having that letter, I was looking forward to the to going to the we got a mail call. They had a mail call where they call you out in formation. He said, Sergeant Hampton, here, mail. So you run up there and get the mail. I was just so excited. And then I knew once a week I'd get a box of cookies from her, And,
It was really difficult. We're getting ready to move. Our first time in 32 years we've moved right now. And we were cleaning out in the garage, and there was a great big tub full of almost every letter I wrote him.
Yeah, I kept
and we
every single letter.
finally got rid of some. We thought, the kids aren't going to want these letters. So O'Neill sat and went through every one. This was just about a month ago.
Yeah.
Went through every one and kept maybe a dozen out that he wanted to keep. And then it was hard to throw those away. We've had them
but
for
I
30
kept every single letter. And we even had got mail when we'd be out in the field or out in another country. They'd send mail to make us happy. And it'll be rain or watered on, and I didn't care. I kept every single letter she wrote me. Every one. I didn't get rid of it.
It was really difficult to get rid of them.
And that was a lot of letters in a huge box with that
big plastic box.
Big plastic box, a bucket, full of letters. And and when we go back looking at them, I remember every single one. And it brought me back to phases in our life, or phases where I was at in my life during that time. And it instantly took me back there. So that was before the internet, before all that. You physically had to write a letter, in the 70s, in the late 70s. You physically wrote a letter, and that's how you communicated. And I kept every last one.
I didn't get one every day, but O'Neill was very good. I bet I got one a week, or at least one a week. You get
at least one a week. I would get her, or sometimes twice. It depended on my schedule and where I was at, and what I was doing. But I so enjoyed getting that. Yeah, very nice.
So did they continue even after you were married?
After we married, it took on a different persona. I think that was kind of the bridge and keeping it together, and then when we actually physically got together, then it was just physically being with her. Because nothing can replace.
But to this day, we're still very much card people.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And we'll just send impromptu cards now.
Yeah, we do. That's right.
I mean?
Yeah, we do. She'll send me a card, and I'll have flowers delivered to her. Or I'll send her.
Yeah. Often.
Just put her. Even though I'll send her a card to the office, or I'll send her a card to the house, and she'll get it because she gets the mail every day. I don't get the mail. I never get the mail. She gets mail every day, and she'll open it and she'll see it. And we do. That's right. We do.
Yeah,
we
still do.
Yeah, send cards.
Not every day, but
no. At least
once or twice a month. I bet I do.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. At least once, twice a month. Yeah.
Well, the love between you two is still so evident. And that's why we wanted to interview you as well, just because you have so much experience and you can see the love all over your faces even right now as you talk. So beautiful. So keep the romance going.
Yes. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yes, it is.
Good. Well, can you share a little bit about, after you got married, then what did your lives look like as you were working, your careers, just a little background about your lives?
Well, growing up, we had two different backgrounds, naturally, me being African American and she being Scandinavian. But we had two different backgrounds. Even it was always hard for us back then. Even when we was in North Carolina, she came and visit one time in North Carolina, and people was giving us a hard time, about being together because of our race, they was giving us a hard time. And she couldn't stand it. She was supposed to be there for a week or longer, And she said, I can't take this. I got to go back, because she never experienced that. I mean, you get it everywhere back then, but, you know, up here it wasn't as bad at all.
No.
At all, it wasn't bad. It was well accepted. But the further you go south of that Mason-Dixon line, it gets pretty bad. But
I remember being down in North Carolina, and I was there, and they would throw stones at us. We literally had thrown stones thrown at us back in the late 70s.
Literally throw rocks, and those big railroad rocks they would throw at us, because they didn't, you know, they said, get away from our woman, you nigger.
That's why I would never, that's why I didn't want to be an Army wife and do that. I liked Minnesota. I knew it was accepted here. And I knew this was a good place to raise a family.
Yeah. We probably would have got married with me in the military, but with that going on, I wouldn't subject her to any of that, because that's not.
And you would have been
necessary.
there forever.
And
Because you were being airborne, you wouldn't have gotten any other.
Well, that would have been my duty station. But as like everything else, as time goes, and we can't let other people, other things, defy our love, because that's impossible. I just wouldn't let that happen. But defy the comfort of our love. And I was more worried about her than me, because I didn't, and as a black man, I've been dealing with all my life, so it didn't bother me much her. But now, when you bring somebody in the mix who haven't been, and it's a strange, and that's a strange environment to her. Now, besides me, I covered in her love, her respect, everything, and I was more worried about her than me. It bothered me, but when it bothered her, it really bothered me, because it was a turn the other cheek type thing with me, until she come play down. I said, nah, this is not right, and that's when,
So you grew up in North Carolina?
No, I grew up in Gary, Hammond, Gary, in Chicago. I was born in Gary, and we just kept moving. We was really poor. I mean, we were dirt poor growing up. And when we didn't have money or ran out of things, we'll move, and, we kept moving. And so Hammond, Gary, Chicago, we settled in Hammond, Indiana, and that's where I graduated high school from, in Hammond, Indiana,
And then you went to school in Minnesota.
And then I came up here to go to school in Minnesota, and then that's when best thing in my life happened to me, but yeah.
All right, so then you were in the military.
I was in the military.
How many years were you in the military?
I was in the military for 3 years, and it was, I loved my time in the military. I loved everything that I did, I was 82nd and Green Beret. I loved everything about the military that was there for me. I absolutely loved it. And it taught me a lot. I learned a lot. And the physical aspect of it, I love it, and I wouldn't trade it for nothing in the world, that part of it. And I guess, our life experience and what we do and who we are, what we are today is because of our experience in life that brought us this far. And like I said, I am not a man of regret. I'm just not a man of regret. I'm a man of making things right, from situations. But I am not a man of regrets. I don't live with regrets or should have, could have. I don't play those games. It's just, I just make the best of the situation,
That probably speaks to a lot of the attitude that you have, and even what Sarah was attracted to in the beginning as well, and what drives you in life today.
Absolutely it does. Absolutely it does, I'm very, very positive. I try to be a positive person,
So then when did you end up in Richfield? Was that right after you were done with the military?
No, we lived in South Minneapolis right when we first got married, just a little tiny bit. The house that we bought in Richfield was actually my sister's house, and she was selling it. And we had the business of King Oscars in Richfield. And we thought, when I grew up, we lived in Minneapolis, and all my friends were from Richfield because I worked every day at King Oscars. So we wanted to live in the city, a small city that we had a business in. We felt we should live in Richfield. So that's what drew us to Richfield. And we've been in the same house. Well, it'd be 33 years in October. And but that's what drew us there. We had a business there, so we wanted to live in the city.
We wanted to live in the same city we had the business in. It made sense. And it was a nice school district, for our kids and stuff. So we thought everything was right about it. And we love Richfield.
And that's where my family met your family. So we lived a few blocks down from you and grew up with you. And driving the Harleys.
I love motorcycles. So I drive my motorcycle by and wave at you guys, blow the horn, and knew your parents, and I knew
your brother was our son's best friend.
Yeah, yeah. And I coach your brother. Yeah, I coach him in football as a football coach also. Yeah. He was a good athlete, and which transitioned into a good military man. Yeah.
Yep, you've been key in I know my brother's lives too, so it's been wonderful to have that relationship keep going even in our lives today.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, let's dive in a little bit to your family. Can you tell us about your family today?
We have 4 children. Our oldest son is 33. And he is married to his high school sweetheart. They met in high school, and he has a master's degree in industrial and organized psychology, and she is a registered nurse at Southdale Fairview, and they have 3 beautiful children. Layla, who is 6, O'Neill Hampton the fourth, who is 4, and Malachi, who just turned 2 last week. And they live in Apple Valley, Minnesota, and they go to church with us at Cedar Valley, and are very involved and very wonderful. You want to go to the next one? You do the next one. Sunshine.
Sunshine is our daughter. She's the second oldest.
She's 32.
She's 32.
Almost 32.
Yeah, she'll be 32 in October, and we love her. She just recently got married, and I'm sure they're working on her starting a family of their own. And me and Sunshine and I was on The Biggest Loser. Sunshine, all my boys was really athletic. They was really good athletic, but Sunshine was the only girl, and she was the one that I didn't say no to or didn't say stop. In fact, I always tried to set the bar high for Sunshine, thinking if any man gonna take her, he gonna have to take her. He gonna have to go climb this mountain. So I kind of overdid it with her, and I didn't never tell her stop to eating or do this. And we both gained a lot of weight. When I got out of the military, I had bad knees and hips, and my physical activities kind of went down. And at the same time, I didn't, encourage Sunshine not to. And we both was extremely overweight. Well, in 2009, we went on the show, The Biggest Loser, and I lost 159 pounds, and she lost 120 pounds. And it totally gave our life back. I mean, it totally gave our life back. And so me and her had a bond like that, which was very close. And I personally think that women is God's greatest creation. And my mother always taught me to respect women. And that's what I was doing with Sunshine and my daughter. I really do think that really, and I'm not being, I think women, I just love the role that women play in our not just in our lives but in the world, and I think and I guess why I feel this way, because I was raised with a single mom. I'm the second youngest of 12 kids, and I didn't have a dad in my life. It was my older brother, and I seen how much my mother struggled and taught us right, and she was a strong person of faith. And that's our idea. So that's what I think with us. I knew if I get married, I'm going to stay married, and I'm going to work it out. And I'm not saying that people who don't is bad. I'm not saying people who do is bad. I can't speak for them. I can only speak for myself. I can only, say what I'm going to do. And I don't judge no one. I leave all the judgment to the man upstairs, because he's the only one qualified to judge any one of us. I just know what I can do, with my situation. And that's why I knew, once I get married, that's what it's going to be. And that I will always be a husband and a father to my kids. And that's it. And but that being said, so I really went overboard with Sunshine with a lot of stuff, and with the things. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think this is how it kind of worked. I really babied our oldest son and our youngest son, and I don't want to say they were my favorites, but it just seemed that way to everybody.
She don't want to say it, but I'll say it for her.
And O'Neill always did Sunshine and Reese, and that's how it always worked. Yeah. He always took care of Sunshine and Reese, and I always took care of O'Neill and Jazz.
Yeah. No, so, we took care of all of them.
All of them.
I think yes. I think when you have more than 3 or 4 kids, I think all the parents, they always hold one. I don't know. It's hard to say, but she's definitely the truth with that. I mean, we love all our kids equally, but I think we did do I did do the two middle ones. She did the oldest and youngest.
That's interesting. I haven't heard that before.
Yeah.
And
but they all know that. And
they all know that.
They don't have a problem with
it. They all know it. Yeah. It's not no secret of this. No, they know it. And
except the kids all say that Jazz is my favorite.
Yeah, well, they Jazz the youngest. They always say the youngest is, and they do. But they all know it though, and we don't. There's no game playing, no hide and seek. They know it, and that's good too. That they know that how we feel and how they feel. And I think parenting wise too, I was raised really, really, really disciplined. I mean, my mother, she operated with a thunder velvet hand. When it was a thunder velvet hand where it's not real physical unless I did something really dumb, but it was more of she was always there and always really, really disciplined. And she didn't have the raising a tough discipline scenario. So that's how I think we raised our kids the same way. I was more the disciplinary with the kids, and she wasn't.
Yeah.
And I think how we did it, we tag teamed it. We always said that we always never ever want our kids not to talk to us. Correct. So I would always say, she'd be the good cop, I'd be bad cop, and we knew our roles, and the kids knew our roles, and that's how it was. Mm-hmm. So I loved it when they went to her with situations. And they knew that if it had to come to me, that something's going to happen with the situation. But it always kept them in check, and it always kept the line of communication open with all of us. And we knew it. And us though, we did always tell our kids that nothing. And we would tell them, always be honest with us. Be honest with us so we know how to help you and protect you. Always be honest, good, bad, or indifferent. Just be honest with us so we know how to protect you. And that's all that we did. They were really we helped them a lot with school, with college, and I'd much rather help them a lot with college than have to pay for rehab and all this, because I'd much rather pay for college than rehab or prison or lawyers to get them out. So that was a trend, and they all did well with that.
But back to kids, our Reese is 30.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
He just turned 30 in July, and he works for a family business down in Arizona. Mm-hmm. He's married. His wife is also an RN, so we have two daughter-in-laws that are RNs. And she's and they have two children. They have Lincoln, who is 3 years old, and Ruby just turned a year old. And then Jazz, our youngest son, will be 27 in a couple weeks, and expecting a baby any day, and will be married in December. And he's an attorney in downtown Minneapolis at a law firm, Mansfield and Foley.
Yeah, nice law firm. Yeah, and our kids, we are proud of all of them.
Another thing that I really think is really special is that our four children are very, very close. They can talk to each other anytime, any place. They're all very close. They have their chain they talk on between all of them. I think they all talk to each other, I would say, almost every day.
Every day.
Which is unusual for children. Yeah. They're very, very close children.
Very close. Yeah.
How do you think this was developed in them? Is it something
we stress that.
We stress that when they grew up, how important their brothers and sisters are, and how
absolutely
how you can always trust on your family, and you stick up for each other and be there for each other, and they have always been there for each other.
They are extremely close.
Very, very close.
Not in a negative or bad way, but in a way that is so positive. But they talk to each other every day, and they have a text chain that they get on the chain. If one don't hear from the other, they'll call them.
Yeah.
They are really extremely close. And like our sons in their wedding, our three sons.
They had this planned year.
They had this plan
when they were in high school. O'Neill is the oldest, and he would have Reese as his best man. Reese is the middle, and he would have Jazz as his best man. And Jazz was the youngest. When he gets married, he has O'Neill. So every brother was for somebody else, and nobody was ever left out.
And they are super, super close with each other. And it's not the backstabbing, the bickering, the fighting. No. I mean, do they have disagreements? Absolutely, they do. But never overnight.
Another
madness.
thing that we did, we almost, not every week, but I would say at least twice a month when we grew up, had what was called Heart to Heart, where we sat down with the family every Sunday night and said, Does anybody got any problems? You got any beef with anybody? Is there any positive thing that you want to say that did our Reese help you do something that was extra special? And we did that. We tried to do it every Sunday, but if we didn't do it every Sunday, we'd do it at least every other Sunday. But it was called Heart to Heart, and we did that with the kids. And the good thing about that Heart to Heart too,
we'll tell them, we'll say, even if you did something wrong during the week, this is your amnesty. You won't get in trouble for it. We won't punish you for it, but just be honest with us so we know. And it was hard because they'll tell us something what some of the other kids was doing, and now we're in a situation, do we tell their parents? Because we know, like if it's drugs or it's drinking, how do we do it? So we find a way around it. But yeah, we always had a heart-to-heart every Sunday where you say, okay, this is it, put everything on the table, no one get punished, be honest with it, and let's see how we deal with that. And they were totally, sometimes embarrassingly honest, but that's what we asked for. And that's what we wanted. And we never blinked. We never, what did you do that? There was never that. We said, okay. And we'll talk through like, well, what did you learn? What did this? How did this make you feel? Why did you do this? And they'll learn that, God, that was stupid. So now next time, when they try to do it there, and what we found out too, let me tell you this, and then you can go, we found out that they didn't do a lot of mysterious stuff during the week because they know they had to confess it in heart to heart. So we'll say, well, how come y'all wouldn't do it? We said, we know we have to confess it in heart to heart. So we didn't do this. Yeah. So it was really nice, that part. And we didn't look at it that way. We just wanted them to be, but they know that they were really openly honest with the things they did during the week, and we couldn't believe it, but it was a nice thing to do. But yeah, that's right. I forgot we had a heart to heart every Sunday. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, not that it was a difficult thing, but when O'Neill and I got married 32 years ago, it was difficult to find a church because it just wasn't. It was all right, but we'd go to a black church, quote unquote, and we just weren't comfortable in any church that we went to. And we owned the restaurant at that time, so I worked every Sunday. It was our business. So we put the kids in the church right by where we lived at Berea. And a very good friend, Sue Harrison, who we knew that Jazz had for preschool and everything, everybody at that church watched out for our children. Yeah. We weren't very involved in that church, but they loved our children, and our children fit into that church very well. And it was very good for them as growing up. When I was young, my folks forced me to go to church every Sunday. They forced me to go to church on Wednesday night. They forced me to do everything. And I think I was a little burnt out with religion by the time when I had kids, but I still knew you needed that base. So that's why we put our kids there, and it was very good for them. Yeah. They've gotten a very good base there. And now that we've grown up, they're all doing very well with their religion, and they found their own spot, and they're all in a really good spot. Mm-hmm. So sometimes I don't want to say it's a regret that we didn't take them. I think I was just burnt out at that time in my life. And not that we didn't show Christian faith in our home. Yeah. I mean, we prayed all the time. We read the Bible. We made sure they were at church. Mm-hmm. So it's not because we weren't rooted in the church, O'Neill and I, per se, but our children were, and we made sure they knew that foundation. Yeah,
because they knew, like, I had a strong upbringing in church. I mean, strong.
Well, so did I.
And so did Sarah, like she said. But I wasn't to the burned out factor like she was. Yeah. But I wasn't forced to go, Wednesday as much as she did. Yeah. But my mom really, really, really read the Bible, taught us the Bible, and that's what we did to our kids. We didn't force feed them anything. They wanted it, and they was receptive to it, and I like that outcome better than having to force them and they rejecting it, or they going the opposite direction, of the Christianity or the Bible or anything, and they didn't. They all of them is firm believers. Thank God, and that's all we want. That's all we would ever want from any of our kids is to be believers, and they are. They hold strong values. And every time like our kids get sick or something, you tell them what I do when our kids get sick. I'll hold them, I sing with them, and I pray every time they get sick. I don't care if it's 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, I will hold them, sing it, and pray to them, sing them hymns, or sing them the same song my mom sang with me. And they're so funny. They talk about that with their kids now. Yeah. It is. It's really nice like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Sarah and O'Neill, I've already shared a lot of wisdom as well, just as we've been talking about what it's like to raise children. But would you have 3 pieces of advice that you can think of that you would give to parents now who are maybe in the early years of raising their children? What can you give as advice for them?
Always leave the lines of communication open, talking. It's really important to let them know, and I think that's a really big one.
And never, ever, ever regret anything, and always be the first one to say, I'm sorry. Always be the first one to say, I'm sorry, and don't live with regret. Don't carry that baggage from 1 hour to the next hour, from 1 minute to the next day to a year to like that, because it wears on you. But always be the first to say, I'm sorry. And find a way. It's so humbling about it. You know, you don't, when you surrender, that's not weakness, that's strength. Because it takes more strength to surrender to something than to hold on to that embottled anger. No, just never, always be the first one to say you're sorry, and that's what we try to do, and sincere sorry, and the sorry have to be backed up with what you're saying, with the actual change. Don't say, oh, I'm sorry, and then go back to that. No, it has to be a true heartfelt sorry, and with every sorry and apology comes change. You know, don't say I'm sorry, or don't say I wish I wouldn't have done that, and don't do anything about it. The second part of saying sorry is change, and you have to change with that, with every sincere apology and sorry. So yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah.
I think too, you need to be involved in everything they do. Our house was always the hub for everybody to come to, and I'd rather have my house be the hub than have them going somewhere where I don't know what they're doing. So always stay involved and be positive with them. Show positive.
Yeah, that's
true.
That's a good point. We had about at one point 9 kids. We were taking kids in our house and just helping them in life. You know, they didn't have father, and I coach a lot of the kids, and we had like 9 kids. So we had 9 kids of buying prom suits, leather jackets, and all this, and they would bite holes in our refrigerator. Them young boys can eat and drink milk like
good
crazy.
Good thing at a restaurant.
Yeah, good thing at the restaurant. And but they were really good kids, and all of them productive too. They good contributor to society. But like you said, always just like I say, just be open and honest. Be open and honest, and don't harbor bad feelings. Please don't do that. Don't harbor bad feelings. Be open and honest with each other as much as you can, and as often as you can.
That's really great advice. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Well, we can also go into marriage as well. So you obviously have kept your marriage strong through the years and through raising children, through having a business as well, and running a restaurant. These are all very stressful things in life to have, and now, and being in the military, and you've experienced a lot of stress, and now even being more famous too, you're well known across the U.S., so even that can bring different strains in a relationship. But can you just share maybe 3 pieces of advice in your marriage, and what makes marriage work for you both?
Go ahead.
Well, what I think what makes marriage work for us is that just knowing, first of all, and this is just us, is our faith. You know, we have a lot of faith. We have a lot of faith. You know, we believe in the Lord as our Savior. You know, we believe that He died on the cross for us, and that's the core. That is the core. Like when you go work out, or they always say, build a strong core. Well, yeah, the strong core is the core of your faith. And then everything else works out from there. And then once we have that as the baseline, go ahead, baby.
And I think our faith has gotten a lot stronger over the years, and that makes our marriage stronger.
Yes.
I think that makes a big difference, you know. And now that the children are grown, and you look for things. When you have kids, you're busy, and we didn't have as much time together. Now we really enjoy our time together. We like to go for a walk. We like to do things that we weren't able to do when we had young children. We love to take care of the grandchildren. We love to do those things, but we just do a lot together. Whereas when the kids were gone, you go to baseball, I'll go to swimming, you go here. Now we enjoy each other more. I've gotten to, every day I love O'Neill more because I get to know him better every day, you know, because we spend a lot of time. Now we spend a lot of time together, you know what I mean?
Thank you.
And I'm so appreciative of him with everything. Like we said, we both came from really different families. And you know what? We've gotten to love both of our families very much. And I appreciate how he accepts my family. And I feel I do the same for his family. And that's been a really... this last year was a really rough year for us because I lost my sister-in-law, who was my best friend and my whatever. And we basically take care of my brother, and he never complains. You know, now we're going on a trip this winter, and O'Neill said, let's call Peter, see if he wants to go. So the three of us going on a cruise and sharing a cabin together even, you know what I mean? And it was O'Neill that says, let's take your brother with us. And it just, it means the world to me that he accepts them and that we do that for each other. And it's only gotten more as we've gotten older in life, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's really what it's all about, because, I mean... the only thing we do on this earth by ourselves is die. As long as you're on this earth, you need somebody in your life, and you need somebody, and you always will have somebody positive. I'll tell you, I'll end with this thing, with this. If you were to take a tiger and a lion, both of them are carnivorous. Both of them they eat meat. Say one-on-one, a tiger and a lion. If they fighting over dead willoughby, they fighting over a piece of meat to eat, who do you think will win? Well, I'll tell you, 70% of the time, a tiger will beat a lion. 70%. So let's switch the scenario. What if you took 10 tigers and 4 lions fighting over that same natural? Who do you think will win? Well, 4 lions will beat 10 tigers 100% of the time. And you know why? Because tigers are individuals. But lions, 4 lions together would beat 10 tigers. And that's what we all need. You all need a lion in your life. Please, lions stick together. Lions will tell you, you know, lions will fight. They fight together, they stick together, and that's what we need. Sarah is my lion. As long as I know I have her in my life, I will always fight for her and my family. Because I just know what it means to me. We all need a lion in our life. You all need a lion in your life. Somebody who will tell you the indelible truth about the indelible truth, who will fight for you thick and thin, who will be there 100%. And that's why, you know, I say, yes, bring her brother along, bring this along. You know, we need to be a lion. You need to have someone in your life fighting. Tigers are individuals, and that's why they will scatter 10 tigers. No, they are scattered. They say, no, I'm not going to be the one. Let me get out of here. But lions stick together. And please get a lion in your life and keep one.
Wow. I'm tearing up back here because I just see the love between you two. And for me, it's something that I want to have in the future.
Yeah,
and so thank you for sharing your life and your input. And
I just want to add, because we never even touched it, but O'Neill also worked for the Postal Service for 26 years.
Yeah.
And he's touched and influenced so many people in his life. We can't go anywhere. The other day we went to Houlihan's, and I think 6 different people came up to us, oh, we haven't seen you for this, and we just love you. And I think people, I want to say, respect us as a couple and as a family here, and
as human beings.
But but O'Neill has influenced a lot of people through the post office, through the show he was on, through life, and I feel that I've just been really fortunate to be here with him.
I'm fortunate. I'm
really
fortunate. Seriously,
this is going to sound maybe weird because he just reminds me a lot of my father, because he's really outgoing, and my father was like that. You know, and I think maybe that's another thing that attracted to me, O'Neill, is that he has that kind of bubbly personality. He can, he rides that for us, because I'm kind of quiet. This is probably more than I've talked in a long time. O'Neill?
Yeah, I agree.
I'm just really quiet usually,
you
know what I mean? But I think that was another thing that really attracted me, O'Neill, was that personality in him, and he just, everybody knows him and loves him, and that was the same way my dad was, and I think that attracted to me a lot to him.
No. I don't care what it is, I'm glad it is.
That's so beautiful. Well, can I touch on one subject as well? How do you keep your marriage strong now, even in the midst of being well known and famous as well? What's some advice that you have in that?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Is it stuff we disagree? Absolutely it is. Is it stuff that we have or argue about? Absolutely it is. I mean, it's not all, butterflies and rainbows. It's not. If you have a relationship or if you with somebody where it's like that, somebody's being phony. It's just that simple. So
they need to write a book.
They definitely do. They need to write a book because they are got the perfect life. I want to live that life. But we will have some disagreements. But the disagreement is the authenticity of each other and what we believe in. And that's what I like. I like authenticity. I like being real. And that's what I look at. I don't look at her being wrong. I look at this is what she sees. So now I got to see what is it about that she see. I try to get on that level. When she's up here, I try to get on level because obviously it's short somewhere. So I am, and she'll tell you, I am so quick to say, yeah, let me think about that. Let me see that. Let me see what you see. And she'll do the same thing. She'll say, well, that's dumb. That can't work. It's this. And say, well, wait. And then we'll think about it and we'll come together with that. But being able to know that we can say that and then turn around and correct each other with it, that's the strength. That's the strength what it takes. But when you look at a situation and say, oh, he's dumb, he'll never see it. Well, no, he'll never see it because you don't want him to see it because you're not. If you're telling yourself he'll never see it, neither will you. But we don't have those kind of bars on our inside. We are open as all outdoors to each other ideas, to change, to making sure that we manifest on the same level. And I am not nobody special. I'm not. But what I am, no, I want to be special to her. That's what I'm saying. I want to be special to her. So yes, but do I do things that tick her off or piss off? Of course I do, and do it. But do I try to make it right? The biggest thing is to know what it is, and even more so than that, don't repeat it, because then now it's not an accident. It's like, and that's what I try to do. I think that's the key. Is just being authentic. Yes, have arguments. Yes, and that's strength, and that's growth. And that's the personalities coming out. But then also to have the authenticity to correct as it is to make it that breaks it. So yeah. Go ahead. Would you say something?
There's only one thing I've missed in our marriage.
What's that?
Having a cat, because he hates cats. I
said, if
he ever leaves me, I'm just going to get a cat instead.
So now she'll never get a cat. Until God called me home, then you can get a cat. Then, call them, in fact, name the cat O'Neill. Cats, I don't like nothing that's more sneakier than me. No, just kidding.
I'm with you.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Good. Well, thank you so much. We have one more question, and that's for you guys to ask those that are listening. Do you have a question that you'd like the listeners now to answer?
Yeah, I have a question. What is your why? What is you guys' why? And I think that everyone has 10 defining moments. I think we make 7 critical choices, and I think we have 5 pivotal people. When you find out what each and every one of those things are, then boom, you're doing good there. So my thing is to try to seek out those things and try to seek out your why, and then turn that whys into why not, and then go from there. Yeah.
You heard it now. What's your why?
Yep, that's it. Yeah.
That's it.
All right. Is there any other last thoughts or anything that maybe I've missed to ask that you guys have on your hearts as we wrap up here?
No, I don't think so.
No, I think for whatever good it is, I really like what this is all about here, because this is how you learn, this is how you grow, and this is how it is. And thank you for opening this doors up to not just to us. I mean, even after this, now even just talking here, we sparked things that I haven't heard or seen in a while there, which is good to feed on now. And it's going into a weekend too. I love this, and now it's just only going to grow. So a lot of good things come out, even from us as old fogies. We getting stuff out of it. We getting stuff out of it. Here's someone who you think we giving something. No, I'm getting just as much out of this as hopefully I'm giving, and that's how she know how I am. I never take more than I give. I would never take more than I give, and that's just me. So I want to thank you personally for you doing this. It's really heartfelt. Thank you.